Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about The Breakfast Club. Alright, so like a lot of you, The Breakfast Club, I've seen it like 5,000 times, you know. This is one of those movies, it never gets old. It's an absolute classic. It's so iconic. I feel like it's timeless, you know. I feel like kids today, you know, high schoolers, middle schoolers, whatever, they could watch this, they could relate to it, they can enjoy it. So yeah, my overall thoughts of this movie, like I think this is like this is top tier. This is, I mean, it's The Breakfast Club. What more can I say? It's hard to like articulate into words, but like this movie's perfect. Like it's so darn good. Something that I thought that was interesting watching it this time. So how all the kids, they have to write a paper and they're not allowed to do homework. When I would have detention, that's how they did it. Like that's what they had us do. Like you there's this like little detention room, and it was just like there was like no windows, and it was, you just like felt trapped. Like it was like the best room for them to have detention, because you felt like you were in prison. Like there was no windows. It was like almost like a college classroom. Like it didn't even look like a high school classroom. It was like these long aisles, and you couldn't talk to anyone. You couldn't do your homework. You had to write like a paper on, I forgot what it was on. It wasn't on like what you, maybe it was on what you did wrong. I forgot what the topics were. Maybe it was like you could write it on anything, but yeah, you had to just like write a paper. And then so that was like the after school detention. I I didn't have detention all the time. I wasn't some problem kid, but I was always like goofing around in class. I was like always trying to be a class clown and stuff. So, you know, I got a couple detentions here and there, but that was the after school detention. I did have either one or two Saturday detentions. I didn't have that many of those, because I think you had to do something like pretty bad to get one of those. So I had, yeah, I only had like one or two of those. But it wasn't like this. It wasn't like I just bonded with everyone in there and we started dancing and smoking together, and you know, we started like crying and get into our like home lives and our problems. It wasn't like that. I don't even, because I remember in the after school detention, you had to write the paper and you couldn't do homework. I forgot like what the rules were in Saturday detention, but I just remember it was like so boring. Like I think I was trying to talk or joke around. They just like wouldn't let you talk, and you just had to sit there, and it was like it was not cool. It was not fun. It wasn't. You know, before I had Saturday detentions, I, you know, saw this movie a bunch of times, so, you know, I was like, hey, maybe it'll be like The Breakfast Club. Tragically, it was not. Um, yeah, so, I mean, kids, if there's like some young cats who are watching this, like high school age kids, you know, and you get a Saturday detention, like, I hope it's like The Breakfast Club and not just staring at a wall writing a paper. I hope you don't have a boring Saturday detention like I have. Like start dancing, become homies with all the kids, and maybe like get a girlfriend out of it, you know? And take her earring and put it in your ear, cuz that looks mad cool. So yeah, do that. Don't just sit there like I did and be a lame individual. But anyways, moving on. Another random thing that I was thinking when I was watching this movie is like, so I used to wrestle in high school. So the character Andrew, you know, he's the wrestler guy, and the lunch scene is so iconic. That's like, it's a fantastic scene. You have Allison eats like the weird Captain Crunch sandwich, which honestly, like they were looking at her like she's like was a total freak, but like low key Captain Crunch sandwich might slap. Like I was looking at it like that looks kind of appetizing, honestly, because Captain Crunch, that's like a top tier cereal. So throw it in between a couple pieces of bread. I don't know. Maybe it works. Maybe it's gross. I gotta try it one day. But anyways, the the wrestler guy, Andrew, he pulls out his lunch and he has like the biggest lunch ever, which I understand what they were trying to go for. Like, he's an athlete, he works out a lot, he needs, you know, he needs the energy, he needs the nutrition. But anyone who has wrestled before knows, like, pretty much everyone who's on the wrestling team, you're cutting weight constantly. So you're dieting, you're trying to sweat all the time, you're you're working out like crazy. Like, not that this doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter because this movie still rocks. But there's just like fun little stuff that I thought, like little nitpicky stuff that I thought I would point out. Like, what wrestler is gonna like eat all that? Like, you would never make weight. Like, when I was wrestling, I was eating like boiled chicken and like plain carrots. It was the worst. But like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I would be like spitting in a cup all day to like, lose that like spit weight, that water weight. But like, yeah, like, this cat's got like 3 sandwiches and a big old bag of chips. Like, how are you gonna make weight? There's nobody goes up in weight. You try to get to like the lowest weight possible, so you're like a little bit stronger compared to the other kid, because like maybe they were lazy and they didn't cut like that. But I thought I was like, that's weird, because anyone who has wrestled before knows, like, you gotta watch what you eat, you gotta cut some weight. Moving on, the first couple of things I wanted to talk about were just like personal things that I was thinking about, like kind of my high school experience and how it, related to the movie. So, that's kind of fun sometimes to like give a little personal take. I don't know, maybe people hate it. I don't know, maybe people hate all my videos. I don't know. But anyways, moving on. This movie blends comedy and drama so well, seamlessly. Like, it's not forced. It's not trying to be like a dramedy. It's just like, it's natural. It's like the kids are joking around. They get deep with it. It's just like they're like real people. Like, that's why I love the characters in this. They feel like real high schoolers. And the comedy is amazing. There's like so many iconic lines and scenes. I'm gonna get to that later. The drama is on point. Like, these kids just like pour their hearts out. They talk about their problems, their family lives. They're like crying. They're like, it's like, they're all from like different backgrounds. They would never, associate with each other if it weren't for this, Saturday detention together. And I'm telling you what, like, people might think like I'm a wimp or I'm soft, but like, I got like some of the, the dramatic scenes, like the real deep emotional scenes, like I got in the feels, dude. Like, I was like, you get like teary-eyed, man. Like, I'm not a guy, like, I don't like cry during movies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, a lot of dudes and females and whoever like cry during movies. Nothing wrong with that. It's totally cool, totally natural. You could be the hardest dude ever and cry during a movie. Like, that doesn't make you any less hard. Like, crying during a movie's fine, but I don't really like cry during movies like that. But like, straight up, like, I got teary-eyed. Like, those emotional scenes like hit me hard, dude. I was like not ready for it. I was like, oh my goodness, like, it got me in the feels. But it was, I mean, that just shows you like how effective the writing is, how effective the acting is. Like, I mean, got me feeling some emotions there. So yeah, just to go over some of my favorite moments. I probably forgot some, but I just wrote down some. I mean, iconic line here: hot beef injection. Who hasn't said that? Like, hot beef injection. That's just classic, iconic. Kids are probably still saying that to this day. Would you give her the hot beef injection? Come on. Classic line. And then the whole thing where he's like, I heard a ruckus. Can you describe the ruckus, sir? Like, at my last job, there's this guy who was like referencing that. He was like my homie there. He's really cool. And he was saying that, and I was like, yo, Breakfast Club. And he's like, my man, like, That's what's like fun when you just like chop it up with coworkers about movies. I always try to do that. Like I always like try to talk about movies with like all my coworkers. They probably think I'm weird. Like this this guy needs to get a life. Like does he have any hobbies? Like he just only wants to talk about movies. Like I talk about other stuff sometimes, but I don't know. It's a good. I don't like watch sports or anything, or I don't know. Like it's a good thing to talk about. Everyone watches movies. You know, come on. Um, and then I like that whole sequence where Bender's like making fun of Brian. He's like, "Hey, you want to go fishing, son? Gee, Dad, but I have homework." "Well, son, we can do it on the boat." Like my buddy and I, we would like watch this movie. Like I would like, I remember one time we were up north and we watched this movie at his house, and we would like always recite that line to each other, like, "You want to go fishing, son?" Like we would just always say that. He said I looked like Brian from his movies, who's Anthony Michael Hall. I think I kind of do look like him. Like at the time, I was like, "Man, why are you saying I look like the nerd?" No, I don't look like him, but I'll take it. I mean, he's cool, you know, whatever, you know. I kind of do have that. Like he was like rocking the khaki pants, like that would be me, low key. Like, except I'm not that smart. Like, you know, straight A's. Like, I don't know. I mean, actually, now that cause I'm in college right now. I've said this. I'm like a little older, but I'm chipping away. I went back to school and stuff, and I mean, I get good grades now, but in high school, like, I just got whatever grades. Like, I was more of like a C and B student, you know. Got a lot of A's in gym and stuff like that. Wood shop, you know. I don't even think I had wood shop in high school. I had it in middle school. I had small engine repair in high school. That was a fun time. But anyways, where the heck was I? Another iconic moment, jumping right back into it, you know, that's good. Sometimes I'll like lose my train of thought. I'll be like, what? You know, what? Huh? What is that, a squirrel or something? Oh, jeez, what is that? What is that, a girl? Oh, well, I forgot what I was talking about. But anyways, Sporto. Hey, Sporto. Like, this is the thing that I was thinking, like, has anyone, like, has that ever been a thing that people call like jocks or athletes Sporto, or is it just this movie? Because I don't know. You know, this movie, you know, obviously came out before I was born and stuff, so I'm not hip with all the '80s slang. A lot of the '80s slang I feel like is still used today. It's not like 1940s slang, you know. But anyways, yeah, Sporto. I always thought that was like cool, but also weird. Like Sporto, like this is a weird insult. I don't know. But anyways, and then I like another iconic line is like when they're all smoking and then Brian has the sunglasses on. He's like, "The thing is, chicks don't know how to hold the smoke, or they don't know how to hold their smoke, or whatever." You know what I'm talking about. I always like that line. Super funny. That whole smoking scene's awesome. They just go crazy. They start breaking glass windows, screaming at him. That's some hitting those high notes there. Some So now that I talked about like a lot of iconic lines that I like, I'm gonna jump into some fun scenes. Like I said, there's so many, I can't cover everything. Like pretty much every scene in this movie is iconic. Like it's The Breakfast Club. I mean, come on. You know, everyone's already talked about this movie. Everyone's seen this movie 1 trillion times. You already know. But anyways, I like the dancing scene. All the kids have like some pretty sick moves. Pretty jealous, honestly. The smoking scene was awesome. Like that was nice that Bender smoked them out, you know, for the free ball. Like he's just like, you know, that was, I mean, especially back in the '80s, like that was like a lot of money's worth of the ganja, you know. So like he smoked them all out. All the kids who like normally wouldn't smoke, cut loose. Awesome scene. And then you got Andrew. He's breaking the glass with his voice, which maybe some people hate that scene. I don't mind that, but I think I read one time that like John Hughes didn't like that scene, which I mean makes sense because like maybe the studio made him put it in, or maybe he put it in, but then he didn't think it, you know, fit with the rest of the tone because it's like kind of unrealistic. But I mean, you know what else is unrealistic? These kids were smoking that loud in the library Nobody even smelled it. They weren't in like some back room closet. They didn't even have a sploof. These kids, they didn't even have like the Ozium going on. These kids, they were just smoking out in the open, just puffing fat clouds, and then like the teacher didn't even smell it. So you want to talk about realism? Don't worry about the glass breaking scene. Worry about how these kids didn't even get caught for smoking. Like, that would have reeked, kid. Like, come on. But anyways, oh yeah, before I jump on to like other fun scenes, since I mentioned John Hughes, I just want to remember this. I just want to mention this because I remember it. When I was watching it this time, I don't think I've ever noticed this before, but at the end of the movie, when Brian's dad picks him up, I don't know 100%, but I'm like pretty darn sure that's John Hughes who's playing Brian's dad and making a cameo, like picking him up. I think that's John Hughes in the car. It looks like him. I don't know, but that's just something I wanted to point out. I'm pretty sure that was him making a little directorial cameo. So that's legit if that was him. If not, I'm a darn fool. I need to do more research. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, like already went over the smoking scene. I like when they're like running in the halls and they're trying to get Bender's stuff and they're trying to like evade the principal, and then Bender's like shooting baskets and stuff. That whole scene's fun. It's like funny when they're like all like running and they kind of like slip and slide, and once they like see the teacher and they all go the other way, it's like, I don't know, them just like having this camaraderie and like working as a team is just, I don't know, it's like really endearing. It's like really just, it's really nice to watch. It's fun, like the scenes when they're like really getting along. That's actually something that I want to talk about. I'm gonna wrap things up here in a sec, but it's like I like how they're like helping each other out. Like, they don't snitch on Bender. He's like hiding under the table and they're like making noises. They're sticking up for him. They don't want him to get in trouble. Like, they hide his, his like, Brian hides his stuff in his pants. Like, none of these kids are like tattling on each other. They're all looking out for each other. And like, even like Andrew, he's like, man, I didn't even want to beat up Brian's friend, but I just wanted to like impress my dad. And like, I feel like they're all like in high school, that whole popularity thing, like that is a real thing, and like the different groups and stuff, and it's like, you care more about what people think about you. Like, you care like way more than you should. But I like how it's like at the end of the day they like do care about that, but then they're just like, they're all like genuine individuals, and they're like good people. It's like not really their fault that like they wouldn't get along outside of this situation, or they would be like mean to each other or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, like I feel like all their like hearts are in the right place, and they're really like, they're like good kids, but it's like tough, they got family stuff going on. Like, they want to be like liked by their peers. That's a big thing. So it's like I feel like they're good kids, like they're just, they all mean well, and they like, they all, they're coming from a good place. Another thing, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to wrap things up. The performances are amazing. Like, everyone, when they get dramatic, oh my goodness, so good. Like, so believable. Some, like, the person that I really liked this time, I thought Judd Nelson's performance as Bender was like really good. Just like the way he carried himself, like all his like movements and mannerisms, like he just like totally embodied the character. Like, I feel like Judd Nelson went crazy. All the actors and actresses went crazy, but like I feel like he did really well, because I think he's more of like a like preppy intellectual guy in real life, but he was like so believable as this like burnout punk kid. But yeah, all the actors and actresses did great. The chemistry between the characters was fantastic. This is a beautiful movie. It's a magical movie. It's a magical time. But anyways, like I said, I absolutely love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it countless times. I think just everything in this movie works. I really have no dislikes for this movie. It's so funny. The drama's on point. This movie never gets old, so would I recommend it? Of course I would. You know, come on. Why are you asking me silly questions? You're not even asking me a question. I'm here talking to a camera, so I don't even know. But anyways, yeah, I would definitely recommend Breakfast Club. This movie, straight classic, certified hood classic, but it's more of a certified Chicago suburbs classic. All right. But anyways, that's been my review for The Breakfast Club. Thank you all for watching, and peace out.